Tennessee stays put at number 7 in the updated college football playoff rankings, and I think the committee sent a pretty clear message.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Good late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. A little bonus content here of your Locked On Vols, free and available wherever you make your whenever you get your podcasts. And appreciate you everydayers for making us a part of your morning routine. Did want to get on here and talk about the updated college football playoff rankings. Going to be around a 10 to 15 minute show. It's going to be real short. I do have a normal Wednesday show that's out there. So if you're listening to this and you're wondering where the normal Wednesday show is, it should be out there. Set that to come out at 5 o'clock this morning, and this one, of course, around 11:30. So a little bonus content. But the big thing is I want to talk about the college football playoff rankings, and then it's Tuesday night, and national media decided, hey, we're gonna throw darts at the board about Nico Iamaleava. So we're gonna talk about that here on abbreviated edition of Locked On Vols. I'm Eric Cain, by the way. If you're new to the show, buckle up, and appreciate you for being here. All right, so the updated college football playoff rankings came out. Tennessee stays at number 7, stays as the 8th seed. Number 1 is Oregon, 2 is Ohio State, 3 is Texas, 4 is Penn State, 5 is Indiana, 6 is BYU, 7 is Tennessee, 8 is Notre Dame, 9 is Miami, 10 is Alabama, 11 is Ole Miss, and 12 is Georgia, but Georgia's left out because Boise State's that group of 5 get an automatic bid. It was the number 13. And is the projected, highest ranked group of 5 champion. So Boise State is actually in the field with the 13th ranking, but Georgia is out with the 12th ranking. So a lot to digest here. First and foremost, Tennessee stays as the 7th ranked team, 8th seed, and this projection would be hosting a first-round game at Neyland Stadium. It would be 8-1 Notre Dame, who is ranked number 8, seeded number 9. So far in the 2 simulations, Tennessee stayed put, ranked 7th, seeded 8th. But would have hosted in week 1, the first time they did the rankings last week, Indiana. Now it's Notre Dame. Sign me up for both. I think that'd be really, really cool. I mean, that's what college football playoffs should be all about, right? And home football playoff games, shoot, heck yeah. I mean, obviously you want to get that first round bye, so it'd be a conference champion, but sign me up for that. But I do have a couple of things here. I think the committee has sent a clear message. And I could be wrong. And what will the committee's values be? We talk about it all the time. What will those values be next week and then the week after next? Because I think they can change. They can change, right? One horrific loss for Ole Miss did not derail its season, okay? One bad loss for Tennessee against Arkansas potentially could. Because 2 top 5 teams lost this past week, right? You had Georgia that lost to Ole Miss. And of course, you had Miami that lost this week. So both of those 2 teams dropped, but Tennessee stays put. So what happened for Tennessee to stay put? Well, Indiana moved up. Indiana beat Michigan. I mean, come on, Michigan sucks. Come on, that's not a win worth bragging about. Indiana beats Michigan. And then, was it Michigan? Now I'm second-guessing myself. I believe it's Michigan. I do apologize. I'm doing this on the fly. Indiana schedule. Here we go. And they just beat Michigan. Yes, so I was right. They beat Michigan, and they move up to number 5. BYU, the committee said, oh, we messed up last week. We ranked BYU so far down, so we got to do a make good, right? We got to do a make good. You had a defensive holding penalty that bailed you out of losing against a rival in Utah that is under 500, yet we messed up last week, so we're going to move you up, BYU, and that's kind of what that is. So you had Miami that lost, dropped to number 9. You had Georgia that lost, that dropped to number 12. Indiana leapfrogs Tennessee, and BYU jumps up several spots up there to number 6. So it's a clear message, in my opinion, the takeaways from week 2 is that Tennessee, you lose another one, and you're done. You're done. That's the message for me. Because Arkansas, you hold that loss to Arkansas in such high regard, the committee does. However, Ole Miss lost to the worst team that anybody has a loss to here in the college football playoff conversation, and that was Kentucky, yet Ole Miss sitting there at number 11. I don't quite understand. So What needs to happen for Tennessee? Well, of course, control your own destiny, win on the road at Georgia, and you're going to be just fine. And again, this is a month-long thing. Say you lose, Tennessee will certainly drop. Other things can happen. It's why college football is the greatest thing in the world, because teams win when they're not supposed to win. You can still be in the hunt, as Eli Drinkwitz likes to say, even though Missouri's done. But you never know what might happen. And maybe you can move up in weeks, in the last couple of weeks. But in my opinion, the committee said on Tuesday night, Tennessee, if you lose this game, your season's over in terms of the college football playoff aspirations. So, that's not something you want to look forward to, right? I mean, Tennessee, of course, the status of Nico, we'll get into that here in just a moment, but you might be going down to Georgia with backup quarterback. Now, your losses, who you lose to and how you lose matters. They said that, Reese Davis said that on the selection show. So what if Tennessee were to go down to Georgia, play with a backup quarterback, and lose respectably, right? Lose by a touchdown, lose by 10 points, right? Don't get blown out. How does the committee view that? Well, Tennessee wasn't at full strength. Tennessee didn't have its starting quarterback. Could that play a hand into Tennessee's ranking next week? I don't know. We'll have to see. But again, I'll say it again. I think the committee sent a message to Tennessee this week saying, okay, we don't value your strength of schedule at all. So if you lose again, you're done. Even though, guys, even though Indiana's strength of schedule is, wait for it, number 100 in the country. BYU's strength of schedule is, wait for it, number 54 in the country. Penn State's is number 30. Ohio State's is number 26. I mean, Miami's is number 39. Like Tennessee, sure, 35 is not great. But of course, we know Tennessee's about to play Georgia and Vanderbilt's improved. So that's going to help, throughout the rest of the season. But number 35 is not bad, but it's that one loss to Arkansas that is really, really kind of bringing Tennessee down. So despite having a strength of schedule, yes, you're undefeated. I hear you, Indiana. But the fact that you have the strength of schedule ranked number 100 in the nation, and if Indiana loses to Ohio State, Indiana will be done, in my opinion, should be done, absolutely, because there's nothing else that Indiana can kind of hang your hat on. BYU the same. I mean, what has BYU done? Like, seriously, you're going to win a bad conference. Congrats. For the most part, its strength of record is number 2. Strength of schedule is number 54. In terms of efficiencies, let's see here. BYU, it's on down here. Let's see. BYU's got the 23rd ranked offense, the 21st ranked defense. So it's got a top 25 offense and defense. That's not bad, but I don't know, guys. It kind of makes no sense. So BYU conference champ, 6th seed would be the third. 6th ranking would be the 3rd seed. Oregon 1-1. Texas ranked 3rd, seeded 2nd. BYU ranked 6th, seeded 3rd. Miami still, the ACC a one-team bid, right? The ACC still projected as the ACC winner, that being Miami. 9th ranked, seeded 4th. Tennessee would get the winner, or Tennessee would move on if they won in this simulation against Notre Dame to play Oregon in the quarterfinals of the college football playoff rankings. So Alabama moved up to number 10. It was the last team in last week. Let's see here. Ohio State, of course, is still considered the second, number 2 in the rankings, but 5th because Oregon's from the Big Ten, so you can only have the conference champion getting that first round bye. I don't know. It's very, very confusing to me. I'm not sure how Tennessee's loss to Arkansas on the road is any worse than Ole Miss's loss to Kentucky at home. I'm not sure how that works. So anyway, that was the message that I took from this week in the college football playoff rankings. You need to root like heck for Ohio State, and you need Ohio State to win big. You need to root like heck for Florida. Whenever Florida takes on and plays Ole Miss, you need to root for DJ Lagway in a major, major way. You need to root for chaos, in a big way. Texas, could A&M upset Texas? I think that would be kind of good. Texas has no quality wins at this point either. That'd be the second SEC loss. Texas, if you lose to Texas A&M later in the season, boy, that'd be a big one. So those are some of the teams you need to be rooting for. And, kind of sets the table for a game down in between the hedges where Tennessee's already, a 10-point underdog. So more on that, more on the quarterback situation, because we had some national media members just throwing darts at the board on a Tuesday night. That's coming up next. More on that here as we continue on with a bonus edition of Locked On Vols. Stay tuned. Hey, I want to tell you about my friends over at FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel. It's America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view the live play-by-play, and so much more, all on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com today to join. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's at FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every single moment more with FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook. It's where you can make every moment more, and it's an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And, of course, I want to tell you about my friends over at Roy. You need to download the Roy app, okay? You have heard us talk about it, Roy, this season. They've revolutionized the NIL industry. Roy allows you, the fan, to have a say in who gets NIL money. And here's what I absolutely love about Roy. You get your money back if that player transfers. Roy is helping us keep our teams intact, and it's actually good for the game long-term as well. So earlier this week, we picked Dane Davis to support over at Roy, and really appreciate you guys for supporting him as well. So to do that, contribute to Dane Davis, download the Roy app. You can see that logo looks like if you're watching on YouTube, or you can go to joinroy.com. Now, let's put the spotlight on your player of the week, and again, that is Dane Davis, as I mentioned earlier. So download the Roy app. Go to joinroy.com today. Use the promo code LOCKEDON. Every athlete from every team is there. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Go to joinroy.com for full terms. Roy. Support the players, and you can change the game. All right, this last little bit's going to be short and sweet. I don't have a whole lot to say, but I mean, you guys are going to be, on your way to work on a Wednesday, listening to Wednesday's show, and be like, I cannot believe you didn't hit on the college football playoff rankings, or I can't believe you didn't hit on the national reports about Nico Iamaleava on a Tuesday night. And so this is why this little bonus show is kind of here. So if you're listening to this, don't forget there's another episode here for Wednesday. So go ahead and listen and watch that too. So on Tuesday night, you had one national media member say that Nico's probably not going to play. You had another national media member come out and say that he's playing. You had another national media member that came out and said that, he's back at practice, but, his status for this weekend is still undecided. And that's the last one, right? I mean, here's what's so frustrating about local versus national media. Like, national media members, if they're wrong, it's okay. Like, it's fine. They don't lose sleep over. I mean, sure, you want to bat 1,000, I get that. Sometimes you're going to miss. That's just the nature of the business. But as a national media member, you don't have to answer to anybody. As a local media member, like you got to answer every single day. So you're not just going to go out there and say this and say that and say this and throw darts and just chalk at the wall here and just see what sticks. Like, as I have said all week long, it is a day by day thing. It is a day by day thing. I can tell you that Nico was at practice and did some things, individual drills and all that, did some things at practice on Tuesday morning. Did he do everything? I don't know about that, but I know he did some things. And so he's progressing in the right direction. I think the next 24 hours from the time of this recording is going to be big for him. But for anybody to come out in the national media and pretty much report or declare that Nico's out on a Tuesday night, like, do you not know how this thing works? Like, you have to go through protocol. You have to go through this test, and it's a day-by-day thing. So I don't know. I just thought it was kind of silly when I saw all that out there. So, again, take it from me or, just take it with a grain of salt, whatever. Like, this is a day-by-day situation, and I don't think we're truly going to know anything until the end of the week. I fully expect Nico to be questionable on the injury report that comes out on Wednesday. I fully expect him to be questionable on Thursday. I fully expect him to be questionable on Friday. In fact, I wouldn't designate it a probable or doubtful until Saturday. That's what I would do if I'm Josh Heupel. But it's so frustrating when, again, like, you don't have anybody to answer to. So you just kind of throw stuff out there and you can afford to be wrong. That's just my opinion on that. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, if Nico doesn't play, Tennessee's going to roll down there with Gas and more. And as we'll talk throughout the week, and as I've done on the squad shows, and I've already recorded a crossover for Thursday with Locked On Bulldogs, like, Tennessee runs the ball so well, and Tennessee's defense plays so well that I don't care who's a quarterback for Tennessee. Tennessee has a chance to really make this a close football game. I truly do believe that. Now, I'm not going to feel good about picking Tennessee to win unless Nico plays. In fact, I'm leaning towards Georgia right now just because, number one, it's a road. Number two, backs against the wall. Number three, road struggles, operational standpoints. Number four, not only Nico, but what are the situation with Tennessee's offensive guards? What's the situation with Dante Thornton? What's the situation with Tyree West, Deshaun Bishop? Tennessee's kind of a banged-up football team right now, and I don't know the status of some of these guys right now, midway or early in the week. So, but regardless, I think Tennessee, with its defense and with the struggles of the offensive line for Georgia and with the struggles of Carson Beck giving the football over to the other team, I certainly think this can be a close game for sure. And that's if Gaston Moore plays quarterback or if Nico. Now, Nico's got the high-end ability. Nico can make better throws. Nico can make plays off platform, use his legs. And those are some things that Gaston Moore, that's not necessarily his strength. But I think this is going to be a good football game. I truly, truly do. So I'm intrigued to see what happens. I hope Nico's available to play for him, for everybody else. But again, as I've said all week long, this is a day-by-day situation. And here on a Tuesday night or on a Wednesday morning when you're listening to this, we're not going to go anything we're not going to know anything definite. We're just not. So my advice to you guys would be, if anybody tries to tell you something definite one way, I'm not saying that he's going to play. I'm just saying on a Tuesday night, there's nothing definite, and that's a fact. So anybody out there reporting one way or the other, just wrong. So anyway, we'll see what happens, day-by-day situation, but obviously Tennessee's got to get ready for the Georgia Bulldogs regardless if you have Nico or you don't. The 7th-ranked Tennessee Volunteers, seeded 8th, despite two top 5 two teams ahead of you losing, Tennessee still is ranked number 7. Again, the playoff committee really kind of sent a message there, in my opinion. Hey, don't forget, there's a normal Wednesday show out there. I just want to get a little talk, little vent session here on a bonus content episode of Locked On Vols. Appreciate you guys, as always, for making Locked On Vols your first listen. Free and available wherever you get your podcast. I'm Cain. Thanks so much for joining us here. Have a great rest of your Tuesday night, everybody.